Chris, good evening. You well?
Yeah, well. Yeah. After 80 sort of last few minutes in the game, I feel a little bit better than I did then.
Talk us through the finish as you saw it, because it seemed quite chaotic.
Yeah, the finish. Well, delighted my team stayed in the game, because obviously with 5 minutes to go and they're rolling the ball round, quite easily could have gone from 2 to 3, 3-1 down. But we didn't, and we put some, fabulous blocks in there and recovery runs to give ourselves that opportunity at the end. Penalty on Danny Ings, clumsy challenge. Nothing really in it, but I see that. Ryan Brewster's tackle. I'll see it one way. Everybody else, other people will see it the other. Just as much as when we played Brentford and we had the same on Vinny Souza, even 10 times worse than that for me. But given, and you have to get on with it and move forward. And the attitude of the team of staying in the game, allowing us to put a ball in their box, ask a question. Goalkeeper comes and makes a rash decision to come through, and we get the penalty. And delighted that we got something from the game. That's my overriding emotion, because I believe we did. From a statistical point of view, we were good. We controlled the game first half, without finding that killer bit of magic at the top of the pitch. And second half, we missed a good chance to go up in the game. And same again, my same criticism of the team is we didn't find that little bit of magic. That our play that got us into that position maybe should have allowed us to. And overall, we've had a decent afternoon. Not got the 3 that we wanted, but we've got a point from a game against a team who's 6th in the division.
Just to clarify your penalty taker, because James seemed to have hold of the ball for a long time, and yet he didn't take the penalty. Was that deliberate?
It was. Yeah. Well, the goalkeeper was going to be down for a long time, which he was. So we understood that, and we understood from a psychological point of view, people being in that sort of area. And so they were smart between them. I mean, Ollie still has to stick it in as well, and I think maybe there was a debate, because I think like 2 or 3 could have took it. Ollie Norwood took the last one, I think, against Wolves in the 110th minute or whatever it was, and slammed it in. And Ollie Mack can take him, and obviously James McAtee can take him as well. So upset Ollie. I was delighted for him, as everybody was, that he tucked it away, and we got something from we got a reward for a decent afternoon for us.
Did you watch the penalty or not?
No, I didn't. No, I just saw a reaction of the crowd. Yeah.
What, you just don't like watching late penalties?
I don't know. I just one of them really. I do sometimes, but not in the 98th, 99th minute. So
103rd, I think, altogether. Yeah, very late. What about the late drama at the other end? Because it hadn't finished. There was another penalty claim that West Ham.
I don't think there's anything in that.
No.
Of course, I'm going to say that, aren't I? Has David already commented on it?
No, he hasn't yet, no. And in terms of, as you say, overall, you're up to 10 points now. Does that display, again at the end with 10 men, give you a suggestion that you've got the character in the team now to make a good go of it in the second half of the season?
Listen, everybody has sort of different situations and different scenarios, and obviously they're off the back of a few players being out injured. I think if you've seen the amount of players that we've out injured at my time here, and even before, I think we had 14 out for the Gillingham game, and some big names from our point of view. Boys with Premier League experience like Basham and Egham and Tom Davis, those boys that are crucial to settle the players down. McBurney's been, not being able to train and be available for a long time. So. To move us forward, it was important today, and to get back, and it never felt, if I'm honest, and from my eyes watching the game, I thought we controlled the first half. I'd have been disappointed if we'd have come in at half time down in the game. I thought we deserved a little bit more than that without finding that last little bit. And we didn't look like a team. And as I said, I understand, West Ham going away to Bristol City in midweek, and then had to come up north and take on that challenge as well. So everything maybe was in our favour to get a result. but they're resilient. They've got a tremendous manager, and they've got some really good players. And you look at the top of the pitch, they've got 4 Nelsings, regular goal scorer, Bowen and Cornet, who they paid a lot of dough for. So it's not, it's not a Mickey Mouse front four as far as I'm concerned. We Ward-Prowse and Souček and Zuma. It's a proper Premier League team that we had to face today. And for me, especially first half, I thought we controlled proceedings, controlled the ball, controlled possession. My one slight criticism of the team is that I think, for me, from an experience point of view, and maybe this is the players getting used to what I want and what we want as a coaching staff, that there's all different ways to win a game of football. We want to play through teams, but I think, late on, with 5 or 10 minutes to go, when we've got Big Ollie at the top of the pitch, we have to go a little bit more direct and a little bit more, over and into him. So that'll be a learner from our point of view to the players. But it was a decent effort, and the character of the team is there. And we talked about just, an important 2 or 3 weeks that we've had. We worked extremely hard on the training ground, and it was important that we got some from that effort in terms of a reward in the result today against a team that's 6th in the division, who've got some extremely talented players.
And a goal for Ben, and maybe should have had another.
Yeah, he's disappointed that he's not got a second, because it's a fabulous run, and he's in, and he was down to play from a conditioning point of view, because he got a whack just before half time as well. He was down to play 55-60 minutes, and I think he was just over that time, like when he had that opportunity, he was just flagging a little bit. So hopefully we can get him up to speed, and chances like that, I'm sure he'll stick away. But he can be delighted. I thought his performance was excellent. He's got all the characteristics to be a Sheffield United player in terms of the hard work and effort and commitment that we want, and he's a good player as well. So hopefully he can bring those goals and assists to us in the second part of the season.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hiya, Chris. I'm Jamie Jackson from The Guardian. I think you're 7 points from safety at the moment. Is it fair to say that if you're going to avoid relegation, you're going to have to start putting a run of results together from now on?
We're just looking at the next game, not looking at the league table.
Okay, and how realistic is it to win the next game, do you think?
Well, just as realistic it is to win the last game. We're a front-footed team. We never set up to defend. We understand the challenge ahead of us in terms of every Premier League game that we play. But we're playing a Premier League team at our own patch, and we believe that we can go toe-to-toe and try and win a game.
I think I know you're worse off than West Brom were when they staged their so-called great escape.
Like that, can you
use that as inspiration?
I'm not bothered about what's happened. Of course, yeah, there has been examples, and you guys can bring that up and players can look at it. But for me, it's improving that performance level, which I thought was good today. And hopefully that, for me, that gives us a better opportunity to go and win the next game. Cheers, mate.
Hi, you're right. That's the latest goal in Premier League history today from Ollie McBurney. How important could that be for your season?
I haven't got a crystal ball, so all I want to, the important thing about it is that it maintained belief in confidence that we're going. We're taking small steps forward. Of course, it's not a huge, massive step for us because we were after 3 points, but it was reward for a decent performance, in my opinion.
Sorry, and going back to Brereton Diaz, do you think he could be massive for you guys going forward?
Well, I hope he contributes in the way he's contributed. As an old manager used to say to me, I don't leave my best players on the bench, and we don't sign players that don't think we're gonna impact and improve us. So if we didn't think he would, then he'd be still in the place where he came from.
Thank
If
you
that
very
makes
much.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You got it?
Yeah.
All good?
Hey, Stu.
Hi, Chris. That's 2 penalties now, deep in stoppage time. Does that show, you've always talked about the character of this side, does that show that the belief that you talk about that you can get out of it is shared in the dressing room, do you think?
Well, there has to be, because it's just a ruthless, relentless league that kills you if you don't. If you turn it in and you get the white flag out, you get done, in that particular moment. So the pleasing aspect of it was those recovery runs and those blocks late on when they've got overloads and they're at the top of the pitch, and they've got some talented players and they're popping it around you, and it's quite when you've played okay to well, as I believe we did today, and to find yourself deep into extra time, down in the game and down to 10 men, it's quite a demoralising feeling personally and as a team. But they never showed that. They did those yards to get themselves back in. They did those blocks that allowed us to go to the other end and ask a question. And so that has to be the case right the way through to the end of the season. So those are standard things for me as being a professional footballer, and especially a professional footballer in the Premier League.
And how do you do it with penalties, Chris? Is there an order before the game?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. It's structured. So there's an order from them. So I'm delighted that obviously we've tucked it away, and it was a great finish by all accounts by Oli Mack.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, he's not had much football. It says a lot for him that he had the bottle to want to be the penalty taker in that situation.
He was in Qatar. He tells me he was in Qatar rehabbing. I hope he was. We've got some private security on him, so he's been away for 4 or 5 days going to see a specialist, and he flew back on Thursday. He trained yesterday, Friday. He looks and feels different to what he did before he got on that plane as well. So hopefully that we might have just cured a situation there, because he's going to be a huge player for us.
And just on the Brewster red card, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it back yet. Any thoughts about appeals at this stage, or is it too early to say?
No, I mean, I think it's... And I know people say, well, you can't differentiate between a forward's tackle or a midfield player's tackle or a centre-half's tackle. But for me, he's a centre-forward's tackle. He's gone in and tried to win the ball. I didn't think he was particularly high. But listen, as I said, we'll all have different opinions on it, because you were here when the Brentford tackle went in on Vinny, which for me was when you look at those two tackles in isolation. But I think that's the thing that we're all after, isn't it? Is that sort of consistency. So if Vinny's one that he gets sent off, then Ryan's one, and we've got somewhere to judge ourselves on it going forward. But disappointing for Ryan. But he'll have to suffer and take his medicine and get back and hopefully add to an improving individual and team performance that's happening at the moment.